What's up, you lazy, entitled, basement-dwelling millennials, bootstrapping boomers, apathetic Xers, and goddamn Gen Z kids today? Our podcast episode today is no laughing matter because we've got a great guest, Cliff Cash. He's a comedian, and he has really diversified his performances to be less stand-up and more standing in front of fascism here. So, Cliff, you just want to tell us, who you are, where you're from. Give us the whole spiel, the rundown, the elevator pitch here.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, first of all. And thanks for watching, everybody. I'm a stand-up comic. I've been doing it for about 14 years. Before that, I was in sales, then I flipped houses, then I started a recycling business. I ran that for 8 years and was doing a lot of environmental activism while I was in the recycling business. So that was where I kind of dipped my toe into activism. Me and 7 friends formed a nonprofit, and we actually ended up beating what would have been the fourth largest cement plant in the United States. It took us 8 years and tons of involvement from lots of different environmental groups, but ultimately we were able to beat them, and they did not build the cement plant. It would have been the largest source of pollution in our community for 50 years had it succeeded. And so I think seeing that come to fruition and seeing us being able to win that battle kind of emboldened me in general, that like whatever you want to do, I know it's sort of an age old cliche, but whatever you want to do, just like if you keep doing it and don't give up, there's a really good chance it will work eventually. And the people that don't succeed
Law
are
of
the ones
averages.
that give up. Yeah. So it kind of encouraged me to pursue stand up, and it also encouraged me to continue to be, continue in some form of activism. So I've volunteered on multiple campaigns. I typically raise money for candidates every election cycle, no matter what, using my stand up. So like this last election, I raised money for 17 different candidates. So whatever that was 10 or 12. It's just me performing for free for large audiences when you know, not something I can necessarily afford to do, but it's like put your money where your mouth is kind of thing.
I mean, I've heard
And
that's what stand-up comedians usually do is perform
yeah,
for free.
yeah, it's definitely, if you were like, you're not going to make any money on this, like, well, I'm pretty used to that. Uh, it's already
Yeah.
not the most lucrative career, so doing it completely for free is not always easy. But
Well, that's why
so
you
I've
picked up
always
activism, right? Because activism pays way
exactly.
better.
Well, now I get that. Now I get that Soros check, so I'm making
Yeah,
like 50 million a
Right?
year from George.
yeah. Can you
Pretty,
Yeah.
hook me up with his payroll team? Because I'm still waiting on
pretty.
mine from all the protests and my videos and everything. I was
Yeah,
told that it's coming any day.
I know. What a ripoff. Um, but yeah, so I have I've been I've always been politically involved and politically interested. I've always been progressive. Um, I was a big Obama fan. I volunteered on the campaign both election cycles, and really not for any reason more complicated than like it just felt good to have a leader who could give a speech that made me feel something and made me like proud to be involved and made me hopeful. And that's so valuable. And I feel like our country is getting more and more simple by the day. And I think it really is as simple as whoever can talk the best needs to win. And that
Yeah.
wasn't Joe Biden. Unfortunately, it wasn't Hillary Clinton. And sure as shit isn't Donald Trump. The guy can barely talk. But we do need people that can talk. So whether that's Newsom or Buttigieg or Cory Booker or whoever it is, we need to have somebody that really has that gift of rhetoric that can make the country go, man, this guy looks and sounds, guy or girl, looks and sounds like a leader. And I think it's as simple as that. Like that's the path to win. Um,
I
but
mean,
I
looking
got
at
really
the
into
just looking at the people who bookended, Obama's presidency. You had the decider out there telling us that the French didn't have a word for entrepreneur and things in Texas about "don't fool me," and then you had Donald Trump who thinks he invented the word groceries. And then
yeah
Biden, obviously, Biden used to be better, but after he turned 147 years old, his speech giving abilities sort of declined there a little bit. and now we're back to again the guy who thinks he invented the word groceries. So I don't
He's
know. I don't know
also
if the American people are really looking for a great orator. Just I haven't gotten that impression
Real.
over the.
Let me take it back. Real Americans. That, you know, and I want us to tap into the same people that put Obama in office. That's who I want voting, and I think people will get behind those people for that reason. But so when Trump was attacking Obama, it pissed me off extra because I really liked Obama. So when he started all the birther stuff, I thought, well, let me Google this dumb son of a bitch. And so I started going down the rabbit hole in Trump. And I literally, I think the first thing I Googled was Trump crime. And shit came up right away. And the first thing I started to like research were his ties to Felix Sater, who is a Russian criminal, ties to the mafia and KGB and whatever. And learning that his longest standing business relationship was with a Russian criminal was like, oh, okay. That was like the starting point of my research into Donald Trump, and I never stopped. And so over the years, I've really like done my best to connect all these dots of his Russian involvement. And so right after this election, I formed a website called Donald Loves Vladimir. And it is a landing page, kind of a clearinghouse for like all the information connecting him to Putin and to Russia. So like every book, every article, every podcast, every documentary, all in one place, so people can go there and consume these pieces of journalism and like really get the full picture. And then we have resources where people can donate and volunteer, and all the different nonprofits, all the different 5051 and Indivisible. And so that's what I'm working on. That's kind of like the place where it all lives. DonaldLovesVladimir.com.
So what did you think of his first term when there were actual like impeachments and like, you know, Congress was looking into his involvement with Russia, like when it all eventually came to nothing? Truly, I mean, surely, you know, he was wow, I just said the word and I can't remember it, but he was kicked, you know, voted to be kicked out of office by Congress. What is that called?
Impeached.
Yeah, that's the one.
Sorry, I didn't know. I was like, what word are you?
Yeah,
I thought you were looking for a superlative. I was like, voted most likely to be a pedophile?
No, I said it 10 seconds
Orange
before I
is
finished that sentence and couldn't remember the word. It's pretty
That's
awesome.
what was throwing us off for a loop there too. Like, can't be that word. You literally just said that word.
So after he gets that twice and really nothing happens, like, how do you feel after you've spent that much time looking into all of his involvement and ties to what like really is some pretty shady, at least minimum business practices, if not outright like campaign, like quid quo pro, you know, favors?
100%. I mean, the FBI came out and said, like, Russia interfered in the election, and he went on TV and said, well, I really trust Vladimir, and he says that he didn't, and I trust him. And it's like, that alone, every single one of these things, the smallest thing Trump did would have been the most insane thing any other president had. If you took Trump's smallest and least egregious
Scandals, crime,
offense against the American people, that would have killed any other presidency. And what it is, and I've said this over and over, and I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's important, until Democrats or the left or whatever, moderates, regular Americans, whatever words you want to use, until our ability to message becomes more powerful and nimble than his ability to lie about literally fucking everything, we'll continue to lose. Because if he needs to, in a year and a half, he'll go on TV and go, Joe Biden shouldn't have done these illegal deportations and started this tariff war. He'll do that. He will tell you, you know, up is down and down is up, and at Times New Roman photoshopped letters on a person's hand is a real tattoo, and they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. I mean, he told people in California there's a magic faucet and you turn it and all the water comes back on to the whole state. And he's dumb. he's dumb as shit. He really is. I would guess his IQ is significantly lower than all of ours. He's not a smart person, but he's sly as a fox. He's not, a lot of this stuff, he doesn't actually believe it. He's not saying it because he believes it. He's saying it because he knows his base is dumb enough to believe it. He doesn't really think there's a magic faucet that turns the water on a state. He probably doesn't really think they're eating dogs and cats. He knows he has a bunch of dumb rednecks that will believe anything he says, and he's using it to his advantage all day, every day. And the reason he beat the Mueller investigation and the 91 felonies and the espionage charges and all this shit is because he's a fucking con man. He's a criminal. He's like really good at delaying court cases and out-lawyering people and keeping his ass out of jail. It's what he's done his entire life. He's not a good businessman. He's a pretty fucking incredible criminal. So what it was is this entire governmental bureaucratic mechanism fighting against somebody who's like, oh, you're trying to use laws to fight me. I don't follow laws. You're trying to beat me with rules. I don't follow rules. So I've used this metaphor in speeches like the Democratic Party is running down the court trying not to dribble, trying not to double dribble or travel or foul. And the Republican Party is running down the court with nunchucks in both hands, shitting on the court. And until you stop following the rules that they quit following 12 fucking years ago, it's like you're literally playing two different sports. Of course,
you know
you're
what?
not. Of course,
hold on. One more strongly worded letter from Chuck Schumer is all it's going to take. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. It's just slightly stronger wording. It's just that's the problem. They haven't strongly worded it enough.
And not in defense of Chuck Schumer, but let's hold our peers to account too. Maybe one more permitted protest in the park where we all sing songs at each other.
Yeah.
That's not doing anything either.
It's time
to get spicy.
This brings up a comment somebody made in the live chat here, and then as well as a comment I just made on Threads that I've received a little bit of backlash for is somebody said, do you think the peaceful protest action is still the way forward, or do you think that it needs to get stronger? My comment on Threads, somebody said, start pepper spraying ICE, and I'm like, no, don't do that. That is a bad idea to do. Continue showing up in force and remain peaceful and push them back just by your overwhelming numbers, because that has been successful. And if you engage them in violence first, you are going to justify extreme actions that you won't be able to come back from. And obviously this is kind of what they're looking to do. It's what they did during the George Floyd protest, where they, you had plainclothes cops that were instigating riots, basically. And I got a lot of backlash from that, saying like, oh, the peaceful thing's working so well so far, and we didn't defeat the Nazis with thoughts and prayers and protests. I'm like, yeah, we didn't defeat them with pepper spray either. And so like it's one of those things where I'm like, you need to stay peaceful until you're ready to get over your nobody needs an AR-15 mindset and organize and and be willing to go a little more Malcolm X. Until then, you've got to stick to the MLK stuff. But I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that, because the comments were curious to hear your thoughts on that, and obviously you just said that
Sure.
Another permitted protest isn't really the way forward.
And to be clear, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not trying to piss anybody off.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't care if you are pissed off, but that's not my goal. I say what I say, whether people like it or not. I've always been that way. I'll always be that way. But I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate people protesting in Tucson. Donald Trump will never hear that you were there, but I still appreciate it. The thing it does accomplish is it makes other people get a sense of belonging. It lets people in that community see that people are showing up. It makes them realize they're not alone. It makes them know that they can be part of something. And that's great. And I think that we've done enough of that now, that we have an infrastructure, we have numbers, and we know what they are. There's something close to 5 million on April 5th. I don't think we've topped that since. Maybe we will next weekend. But at some point, those numbers are only relevant if they're in Washington, D.C. At some point, take half of that 5 million and those people come to D.C. That will be one of the biggest crowds to ever be in Washington, D.C. As far as I know, 2.5 is the biggest number we've ever had in D.C. I could be wrong, but I can't find something bigger. So if we got 3 million people to D.C. to completely surround the White House and Congress and the mall and just kind of shut the central business district of D.C. down at a time when his polling is at historic lows, at a time when the economy is shaky, at a time when veterans are pissed off, at a time when our allies are pissed off, at a time when the world is watching us, my opinion is that sends the necessary optics to the people who could possibly do something to get him gone. That gives them the permission structure to say, okay, the American people are fucking done. And to me, that's our job. As citizens, that is our job. And other people have their job, whether they're former military intelligence or people that are still currently in the administration who hate him, or allies, NATO, leaders of other allied countries, whoever they are that have the ability to possibly get him gone. That's their job. Mm-hmm. Our job is to kind of give them the permission via optics to get it done. And to me, it's the reason we see these videos on Instagram in other countries where they're coming into the nation's capital and shutting the city down, and these overhead drone shots, and everybody's blown away by it. Well, we can do that too. It's a little harder because our country's the size of a continent, but we can do it.
Yeah.
So if we love it so much, let's do that. Because they're protests, but like, you know, it's cool that you can protest where you live. We need to protest where they live. And they live in Washington, D.C. And that's the pressure point.
I've got a slight counter to that, just because the people that need to be holding Trump accountable are Congress, right? Like, those are the people who have, in theory, the power to do this. And those people live in our states. And we put the pressure on them by saying that, you know, in theory, if we still have elections in 2026 and 2028, and they want to hang on to their seats, and they see that their constituents who can vote for them are unhappy. And I don't think that there's anything. I think that also showing up in huge numbers in D.C. is incredibly effective, but it's very easy to pass that off as, oh, this is, you know, like the Women's March, the original Women's March with Pussy's hat and everything like that. Like, oh, this is just a bunch of libs who probably aren't my constituents, who I don't need to worry about. And I'm thinking that having that pressure on all of those Republican congressmen and senators and Democrat congressmen and senators who aren't doing their job to hold them accountable and still voting for his nominations and you know, towing the line, putting that pressure on them to be like, look, if you want to keep your job, you need to know that the constituents in your state, in your district, are unhappy with you and are ready to kick your ass out unless you get up there and have the spine we elected you to have.
Sure. So my answer to that is I agree. And so my plan is a multi-part plan. So DC pressure is just one of the many things. And it's really not even mentioned in my 4-part plan. It kind of goes without saying. But my real 4-part plan is in-person congressional visits. Big numbers, which I'm leading this Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning on the steps of the Capitol.
By the way, for everybody watching this or listening to this when it goes live, this will have already happened. But what day is that for everybody in the live day and time?
Yeah, everybody in the live this Friday, June 6th at 9 a.m. I'm gonna put up more information today on all my socials to give you some real detailed instructions. But essentially, we're gonna go to all congressional offices. I'm working with the Mayday team, Indivisible Virginia, Jessica Denson, American Opposition, a bunch of us. We're organizing an effort. There's going to be handouts, and we're sending people to these congressional offices. And, you know, there's a myriad of talking points, obviously, but the real unified message is every dictatorship ends, and this one will too, and the people are going to hold you accountable. Mm-hmm. If you did anything less than fight this with your whole heart, we're going to hold you accountable. That's the message, whether you're Democrat or Republican. So that's part of my plan. The other one is amplifying veterans' voices through in-person protests, town halls, recorded testimonies, whether they're at the town halls or selfie-style videos, and then amplifying those videos online. So we've put out like 8 of those. One of them is like close to 400,000 views now. The others are, 10,000, 50,000, whatever, but they're all doing pretty good. And we're continuing to do that. I'm encouraging every group in the country to have veteran-centric town halls. It doesn't mean nobody else can come, but you want veterans to get up and say, hey, I fought for this country. Some of them lost arms or best friends or health or whatever. And now this country is screwing me because of this draft dodging Russian asset, who's the most anti-veteran president in U.S. history. Those stories need to be heard. I mean, those people deserve to be heard, but also if anybody can reach a MAGA cult member, it's a combat veteran. They're not going to listen to me. They're not going to listen to you. They don't care about minorities or women, or we're not going to prey on their ethics. They've kind of shown us they don't have any. But what we can prey on is their fake patriotism, because that's not real either. But if you can tell them, hey, you're a traitor and you're being a coward and you're not being tough, you're being soft, supporting this New York City rich kid who's gutting the VA. Listen to what these combat veterans have to say. If they're reachable at all, which might only be 5% of them, but if they are, that's who can reach them. And I also think getting those veterans together gives them a chance to network with each other and stay in touch and plan and organize and form groups and networks. And I think that's highly important for all the reasons that you can imagine. And then the other two things are intense media pressure. I just started with a group of other people. We just started a thing called Fox Takedown. It's a website, foxtakedown.com, and it's like Tesla's Takedown. We're trying to send groups of people out to every Fox affiliate to protest, understanding, of course, that there's good people at all these places that just happen to work for a Fox affiliate, but that affiliate is paying money directly to Rupert Murdoch and enabling all this shit to happen. And really the root of all of this, a big part of the root of all of this, is this misinformation and disinformation coming from Fox News for decades that has made Americans dumber, while the party they support has defunded education. And they have created this perfect storm to have easily duped people being duped. And so putting pressure on Fox, but also putting pressure on what we would say left-wing media, which is a misnomer in the first place. But
where is that again in our country?
Exactly. But
you could say liberal media, though. Left-wing, not so much, but liberal maybe.
Yeah. But putting pressure on what other people think is liberal or moderate or whatever, to like, hey, you might not be directly lying to the level of Fox, but you're sane washing this bullshit. You're normalizing it. You're not reporting on the most insane shit he's saying and doing. You're not covering these nationwide protests. And until or unless you do, we're going to come to your door. We're going to bring 5,000 people to your corporate headquarters and stand outside and chant, "Let us in," the whole time you're at work. If you like that, we'll do it every Friday. If you don't like it, you need to rejoin the American people and have our back and help us fight for this country. And then the last thing, I'm sorry to be long-winded, but the last thing is basically that very similar type of pressure on the Heritage Foundation. These are the people that are the architects of all this bullshit. And I tell people all the time, you can't go knock on Donald Trump's front door. You can't walk up to the White House and knock on the door. You can walk right up to the Heritage Foundation and knock on the door. I know because I've done it. It's 10 feet from a sidewalk with no fence. People need to go there and make these people feel unsteady. Yeah. Because what they are doing to the American people is making us feel anxious and stressed and unsure. It's time for us to go to them and make them feel that way. I want them to look out their blinds while they're typing a document about how to hurt children and starve sick people, and look out the window and be like, man, this is nerve-wracking having 3,000 people chanting, "Let us in," or "Come outside." I want people to quit their jobs. I want people to leave CNN because you know what? I want to go tell the truth. And y'all go to YouTube and do your own thing and watch us support you and make you more money than you've ever made before. We got to get the people who are reachable. We got to get them on our side. And the people who aren't, we have to make them afraid and ashamed to be Nazis like they used to be. You know, they got to feel a little bit scared. And that's what I mean when I say permits in the park. It's great if we can all get together and sing songs where it's just us hearing it and people drive by and honk. I mean, That's cool in a normal political climate. This is not a normal political climate. This is a fascist authoritarian takeover of the oldest democracy on earth. And until we treat it with that seriousness, we're not going to be able to combat it.
So I guess what I'm hearing you saying is you are not advocating for pepper spraying ICE agents, but you're still saying keep it peaceful, but keep it aggressive.
Keep it aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
They need to. The media, the Heritage Foundation, Congress, they need to go, oh, wait a minute. Now that I think of it, tens of millions of Americans actually do scare me a little bit more than this elderly pedophile with a dirty diaper who paints his overweight, obese, elderly face orange every morning. Like, that guy's actually not scary unless you're weak. The reason these people act tough is because they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Just like school bullies act strong because they're not, and they want to try to beat up everybody because their dad doesn't love them or whatever it is. And that's who Elon Musk is. Elon Musk has a terrible father. His father is a piece of shit, and it's one of the reasons he acts the way he does. Donald Trump's father was a piece of shit. Most of these people are underdeveloped men who never matured enough to understand the importance of kindness or courage or real leadership. They are narcissistic, simple-minded bullies with small hands and little wee-wees, and that's why they act the way they act.
No, you're absolutely right. I don't know. I know you don't hang out on TikTok as much as you used to, but
I got banned. Like, you're not on there as much. Like, well, they told me I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, you can always just create another account.
Off.
Like I sent you that account that's ripping all your shit off. You know.
I'm gonna get a lawyer and send them something and say, hey, whatever revenue it's created, you need to send it to me, or we're going to court.
Is that what I was watching this morning?
Yeah, probably. There's a bunch of people sharing my comedy, making money off of it, which is copyrighted to the point where the first few times I shared my own clips from the special, they got demonetized or taken down. It's like, this is copyrighted. I'm like, it's me.
I know it's copyrighted. I copyrighted it.
But now all these other people are sharing it who aren't me, and they don't seem to be having a problem.
No, it's weird how that works.
TikTok is frustrating.
So I don't know if you missed the drama, but there's this MAGA. I hesitate to call him a creator, but a MAGA idiot who does. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, the little person.
Yeah, Ray.
Yeah.
So he goes on from his car. And he's like, all these. I could fight any single liberal creator ever. There's not one I wouldn't scrap with. All this yapping, not enough scrapping. He's like, I'd take on anybody. And then, like, literally all of leftist TikTok comes out and they're like, all right, bet. Where do you want to meet? And he's like, well, I didn't mean you, okay? Like, obviously it had to be like a weight class. And then so people are like, all right, I'm in your weight class. He's like, well, they have to have like at least 100,000 followers. And he just kept going on and backpedaling, and it was one of the most beautiful things. But it's a perfect example of the very small men trying to act big and tough because they're overcompensating for something. And then
100%. And for the record, I'd love to throw my hat in the ring with Ray.
Oh yeah, I mean, I want to see.
Come get it, Ray.
He's had dozens of women be like, I'll fucking fight you. And that would be like just the best thing. Like just some 5'4", 110-pound girl just come and fucking lay him out.
Let's knock out that whole bottom row of teeth so you can get them shits fixed, right?
It sounds like he's looking for his man who's 6'3", blue eyes, and works in finance. You know, like the 0.00001% person that exists in America today.
Oh, I mean,
you just described my dating app experience when I was single.
Oh wait, I forgot the trust. I forgot the trust fund part.
I have a joke where I say, I was on dating apps and it was really fun, but I tell you what, I realized when I got on there, I'd never known before, is I'm actually a little person, and I had no idea. I thought I'm 5'10". I thought I was like a regular height dude my entire life, and then I got on dating apps and realized that I'm a little person because every woman on there was like, if you're not 6'6", fucking kill yourself. Yeah. It's like the first thing in all their bio. And
I mean, there's like one thing that incels get right is that like. Some women do put like you have to be 6 foot or over on their dating app, which is like obviously it's crazy, it's dumb, but
I mean, I'll give women a pass on that because they need to start filtering out. I mean, guys, we're chasing a little bit more, and they're like, yeah, no, don't want that, don't want that, don't want that. I don't know. I mean, I dated very.
I mean, they're just losing out. They're losing out on all the short kings.
They are. They
all
are.
the other really
what?
great guys.
We don't want that shallow bitch anyway. But like,
It's true.
Here's I don't know. I'm 5'6", right? I am a little person. Like when it comes right down to it, like, I'm not out here, towering over anybody or anything like that. And I never struggled with dating. Like that was never a problem for me. So like when
it's not fair. It's not fair. You married
it was like a silly joke, but and I'm obviously like I'm very like pro woman and pro women's rights, and if you like something, you like it, whatever, it's fine. But when I was on the dating apps, I mean, I would like match with a girl who was like 5'2". She's like, "How tall are you?" I'm like 5'10". She's like, "I really like dudes like 6'2" and taller." I'm like, "You're 5'2", Kelly. I'm the perfect height to kiss you on your forehead, okay? You know who else is 5'10"? George Clooney, fuckface. I'll let him know your name. And then I talk about being a little person, and I go, and for the record, I'm using little person because that's the politically correct term. I don't want to offend anyone. I try not to ever use any trigger words. I'm not that kind of comedian. I do not want to offend any group of any minority. But sometimes you do have to use the offensive word. Sometimes you have to use that word. Like if you're going to see that kind of porn, you better type in midget. Because if you type in little person, porn, they will knock your front door off. And then I let the laugh die, and then I go, ask Matt Gaetz.
Ask Matt Gaetz. There you go.
Last time I was in the halls of Congress in January, begging members of Congress to at least attempt to uphold the 14th Amendment, Article 3. I was walking through the halls of Congress, all the congressional offices, and anytime I would pass somebody, I would go, "Hey, have you guys seen Matt Gaetz? He was supposed to get me some Molly." And then they would laugh, and then I would go, "I think that was her name." It was killing, dude. It was killing.
I don't know. I could imagine that not going well too, and people just completely like ignoring you. But also, there's got to be some people who are not robots entirely in Congress.
Oh, dude, everybody, I don't know who the people were. They're just aides. And
right.
I didn't recognize the people, but everybody I said it to was like, and the security going into the building, they laughed the hardest.
I bet. I'm still surprised he's
halfway down the hall, and I could still hear the security dude just dying laughing.
I'm just always surprised that he's still not in prison right now. Like, it baffles me so much.
That man is a slipper man. He's going to be one of those that ends up in prison, like, in 30 or 40 years, I feel like, for something he did now-ish. But it's like, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, there's enough other chaos going on, and he's got enough friends in high places where, like, he can still slip under the radar, even though he picks up his girlfriend at middle school every day. But he's going to eventually get the attention from the wrong person once all the dust is settled from everything else, and his friends in high places are, under the jail and all that kind of shit. That'll be the day. I'm thoroughly convinced he'll get there.
I mean, imagine believing in lizard people and thinking Matt Gaetz isn't one of them.
Or Ted Cruz. For fuck's sake, there's zero way Ted Cruz is human.
Or Elon.
Yeah, or Elon. Elon is clearly, like, they're talking about Joe Biden being a robot. I'm like, have you fucking seen Elon? He is a malfunctioning android. Like, there is zero way that man is human. You knock him off and you waddle around like a Stepford wife after you knock her head off. Like, there is zero way that man is human.
Illegal immigrant, junkie, deadbeat dad, criminal, costing hundreds of thousands of Americans their jobs. Like this,
and on welfare,
like,
on loads and loads of welfare.
Totally, and like avoiding child support, like trying to minimize his child support.
Yeah.
What a
Which,
piece
can you
of
imagine
shit.
having that much money and caring about how much child support you pay? Like, how big of a piece of shit do you have to be the world's richest man? Like, richer than half of the population's wealth combined, the global population's wealth combined, and been like, yeah, but I think I can knock that child support down another $10 a month. Like, who The fuck?
Totally, dude. Or imagine having zero money and being like, that guy right there is looking out for me.
My God.
He's going to help my pressure washing job.
It is still baffling to me that Republicans are like, yeah, we need to elect a billionaire who's going to hire another billionaire to fix the problems that made them billionaires because business. Like, and that's something that just clicks in their head. Like, that makes total sense. I see nothing wrong with this logic whatsoever. Like, they're billionaires. Why would they screw me when they're already billionaires and they got to be billionaires by screwing me? So they don't need to screw me anymore. So, like, clearly these are the best people to fix the problem. Like, duh.
Yeah, once you get to a certain wealth threshold, you realize, oh, actually, I don't need to be screwing, exploiting these people anymore. I definitely haven't been doing that my entire life, and just now finally realized that maybe I shouldn't. But, I guess they all just forgot that, the alarm just didn't go off on their phones that day when it was supposed to happen for Elon, and so now we just get this Elon.
Oh, have you gotten your $5,000 Elon check too yet? I heard that we were getting, from all of the
my Doge
government
check?
efficiency he efficientized to save us all this money.
I think it's with my George Soros
yeah, just
check.
caught in the mail somewhere. That's DeJoy needs to work on picking up the postal service better so we can get these checks. So I guess going back. So where are you from? Sorry, getting a little bit back onto you here. Where are you from?
Oh no, you're good. I'm from North Carolina. I grew up in a place called Gastonia. Truly terrible place. A lot of good people there. Not a diss at the people. There's some shitty ones there too. They
talking about you, Bob.
Yeah, talking about you, Ben Sando. But just not a real small town. I think it's around 300,000 population, but like it's a suburb of Charlotte. And now I live down on the coast, like southeastern North Carolina, and the redneck here is like what you're familiar with. I see you kind of talk about this like topic is this the more like country camo truck whatever. The redneck in Gastonia is more like a Civic with rims. And like the gold chain and like the Caesar haircut with the bangs across the front.
We have a different word for that, but I'm not sure it's politically correct anymore.
I gotcha. I know that word. Yeah, it seemed harmless at the time.
Things that you could say in the 2000s that looking back, we had some growing to do, and that was maybe one of them.
We could have just said whack because that rhymes with black. You know what I mean? Like
we could have. We could have.
You're fucking whack, dude. You're whack.
Although again, I could see that one not going well either. So
yeah, well, we didn't mean anything by it. It's the most frustrating part of it is these rednecks appropriating a culture they don't fight for. That developed by people that they don't do anything to try and give any equity to.
It's not even appropriating a culture they don't fight for. It's appropriating a culture of people they actively hate, which is what always boggles my mind. Especially like these MAGA rappers, like you've seen this shit, like Tom McDonald and that.
I hate that guy with the ferocity of a
Fagio
thousand
Blow
suns.
or whatever the hell that other guy's name is, and like he like that's what they're doing. They're taking black culture and then using it to perpetuate racism constantly, and it's mind blowing to me. And it's mind blowing to me that they found a niche in a group of people who like hate rap music and loud stereos and like all of the things that go along with that because they hate the people who embody that culture traditionally. But then they just absolutely accept as soon as a white person starts doing it that it's cool. And I'm just, it's again one of those things that I can't find a way to make that click in my head, but somehow they do every single time.
It's one of the worst things on the internet. I can't decide which one I hate worse, redneck rap or Christian rock. I mean, like those are two things that shouldn't exist. I don't want to hear that when I'm eating a chicken sandwich. Can you just put it on a regular fucking radio station?
I'd go. I think I'll give Christian rock the slight edge in being less shitty because if it's down low enough, it's easy to tune out and usually is close enough to something else where you're like, yeah, that could be a song I might know and not hate. I'm not sure. So as long as you have to really be paying attention. to the Christian rock.
Sometimes it's romantic.
That could be Creed.
Sometimes you hear it and you're like, oh my God, this is a sweet song. He must really love the girl he's singing about. And you're like, oh, you're singing about Jesus.
You could just be hearing Creed in the background too.
Exactly.
Like, you don't know. Like,
with arms wide. I mean, that was basically what they did. Is they're just like, we just gonna make Creed Jesus-y. Isn't Creed already Jesus-y though? They are a Christian rock band, aren't they?
Probably. Either that or Jesus is Creedy.
Hey, that's what's up.
I mean, the long hair, the facial hair. He probably had some leather cuff bracelets.
Definitely. So you're from
Real Johnny Depp vibes.
So you're from North Carolina. I actually do know where Gastonia is. I have a family who lives in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is a suburb of Charlotte as well. Yeah. And I went to college in Bristol, Tennessee, so I used to go drive to visit them, and I drive through Gastonia quite a bit, so I'm familiar. So your little gig, which you're telling us earlier, when you'd come out and just do like the Southern Hillbilly thing, isn't that much of an act, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, totally. No, I mean, I sounded like that till I was like 11. And then I read just enough books that my accent went away. But not enough to be gay. Not enough to be gay.
Right. Yeah. One book short of being gay.
The cutoff is 15. If you read more than 15 books, you get gay automatically.
Right. And if you read 20,
and then you have to rub your wiener on an assault rifle to reverse it. It's the only way. I'm actually going to be in Bristol November 7th and 8th at the Blue Ridge Comedy Club. If you still have people in Bristol. I do still have people, around the area, yeah. I'm thinking about going back. I don't know if you've ever been to Rhythm and Roots down there. It's a big music festival. Well worth it. It's all, like folk bluegrass stuff, and they shut down all of State Street. Cool. So for those of you who don't know, Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol, Virginia is one town basically in two states that share the same name, and then the main street has the state line runs right down the middle. So one side of the road is Bristol, or is Tennessee, and the other side of the road is Virginia. And they shut all of that down, and they have like 15, 20 stages going nonstop for like 3 days. And it's super cool, inside, outside. And then the week after that is the Bristol night race, NASCAR night race. And when I was in college, I went to every single one of those because it was really easy. Just roll up like 5 minutes before the race starts, and all the scalpers who hadn't sold all their tickets were basically giving them away. So I've been thinking about trying to like.
So it's It's basically Kansas City, but without the Chiefs and more NASCAR.
Yeah, pretty much, and a lot smaller, better music,
Yeah. I'm sure.
Better food.
Maybe not better barbecue, though.
Kansas City barbecue is the best barbecue I think I've ever had. I will say that. Kansas does do barbecue better than Texas. I'm sorry, I've had Texas barbecue. Better than Carolina barbecue. Ooh. Now North or South Carolina barbecue.
I don't know. and this is one of the reasons I like you, and I was like, I liked you as soon as I started seeing you on TikTok. I was like, this is another dude that's like, you live in Missouri, is that right? No. Okay. I know it was an M state somewhere. But it's like, this is a dude that like lives on a farm, and like now I know like went to college in Tennessee, went to NASCAR races. Like nobody can be like, man, he's a liberal snowflake that's got purple hair and a nipple piercing. Like, no, he's a dude. He lives on a farm, you dumb bastard. He drives a truck. Like, my last name is Cash. I'm related to Johnny Cash. My dad worked on a NASCAR pit crew when they raced on dirt. Shit. Like, my dad worked on Stick Elliott's pit crew in the 60s. And my mom talks in tongues. And I tell people, I'm like, that's a redneck resume strong enough to say whatever the fuck I want to.
Roadside Pentecostal talks in tongues type shit?
Not real. And now she has dementia, so she forgot she talks in tongues, which is nice. That's been the silver lining of the dementia. We're like, well, at least she doesn't talk in tongues around the house anymore. That was creepy as shit. But no, I grew up Southern Baptist and like youth group where you sing with your hand up. And then she got into the tongue talking, luckily after I'd already left the house. But it wasn't like, there was no snakes that I know of. But she could have just left that part out. It's possible.
Dude, that is some fun credentials though. Johnny Cash and NASCAR. Little moonshine roots back there.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, like, you can't out America me. My people came here in 1665 from Scotland. You can't out Southern me. Like, I can build a deck, I can tile a bathroom, I can fucking do trim carpentry, I can rebuild a carburetor. Like, you're not tougher. You're not more masculine. You're not more American. You're just more dumb. That's all it is.
You can't IQ out IQ me either.
And you're a racist.
Don't you guys know that if you have enough eagles on your like clothing, that adds like an extra IQ point for every eagle? It's like having stickers on your car for more horsepower, but for patriotism, obviously.
Yeah. It's like a spoiler on neon. Right. I don't think that's gonna make it go faster, dog.
Don't doubt.
It's just an SRT. As you're saying eagles, I was looking around to see if I had a hat with an eagle on it nearby, because I have all these like outfits I wear for my dumb videos. It needs to be an American flag, which I don't do as much because I don't feel as happy. It used to be all my social media videos were me pretending to be them, and I would wear like I bought all this like bullshit off Temu. It's like, try that in a small town, and I have like a hat with flames on it and a motorcycle, but now I'm too angry to get into those funny characters.
Yeah.
So now
the humor kind of goes away the more real it gets. You know, like the things that were funny before the election they're not funny anymore. They're just sad or scary or depressing, and it sucks, you know. And satire is dead now. Like, they killed it, buried it, dug it back up, set it on fire, and then dropped it in the ocean with a brick tied around its leg. And it's sad because I love satire, you know, and it's like, you can't out satire. Yeah. Like, how The Onion's just got to start reporting regular news now, because, like,
totally,
reality is dumber. I don't know what
the truth is stranger than fiction.
The people.
Yeah, you can't even put satire labels on your content and like expect them to realize that it's satire. Mm-hmm. You know.
Oh, I had a whole video, and it went, you know, it got like, I don't know how many views. It got a shitload of views, but like people were taking it and posting it on their stuff, and it would go get 1 million views on that platform on somebody else's page. Like, it did well on mine, but it just like lived on the internet and still does. But it's like me with my shirt off and a backwards hat, talking about how Hunter Biden shouldn't be president anymore. And even liberals are like, this guy's an idiot. He thinks Hunter Biden's president. And but it ends with me being like, you know, he got arrested for having a gun and not paying taxes. And then you can kind of see my wheels turning, and I'm like, wait a minute. I love having guns and not paying taxes. This dude, you know, he's all right with me. Plus, he got that big old pecker. He might be an alpha male.
Right? He hung out with all those strippers and did a bunch of blow. Yeah. So, I mean...
Yeah, he's basically...
It was a problem.
Basically a less lame Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, totally.
Right, he's lived a life.
Matt Gaetz had friends in high school.
He's really been, you know, on the road, and he's really lived a real life. Don Jr., he's just, you know, had a couple silver spoons up his ass his entire life. Yeah. You know.
I think I might hate Don Jr. more than Don Sr.
Don Jr. is
what a piece of
just
shit.
Very punchable in every single way. Like, his face, even if I didn't know anything about him, I think I'd hate him just by looking at him, because like it makes my blood boil a little bit just seeing his existence, you know. Like Eric, you feel bad that he exists. Like I'm sorry that you were brought into this world. You don't want to be here. We don't want you here. It's just, it seems sad, but Don Jr. is just a new level of just makes your skin crawl and makes you just feel dirty, you know, like.
Yeah. It is hard not to have compassion for Eric being the nerdiest of all the vampires. Like, that dude just looks like he's never seen the sun before, and he has the same gums as Charlie Kirk, which is tragic in itself.
What the fuck is what's gonna happen with Barron though? As that kid gets older, that kid's gonna grow up just super fucked.
A lot of people think that he might have some, I'm not being mean, I'm being serious. Like, a lot of people think that he might be like autistic or have some developmental stuff, because you never hear him. Like, they won't let him talk. You know what I mean? And he seems a little awkward when you see him. But I don't know. I mean, you know, there's only two ways to go when you're like my parents, of course, super religious, super conservative. And now I am like, you know, rabidly liberal stand-up comedian. My brother is rabidly liberal college professor and novelist, and my sister's a lesbian. So like, sometimes you push people one way, and it
look
just
at
totally
Ronald
backfires.
Reagan's kids. They all fucking hate their dad, so you know,
Yeah,
like it could go that way. And I mean, I don't know if Barron's autistic or just the fact. I mean, the kid grew up with like a golden lion pony thing that he sat on while his parents awkwardly held each other in this giant golden penthouse. And like that kid's never had a normal interaction with another human in his life, and that would make a perfectly normal person awkward as shit.
I agree, dude. And watching the whole KGB run the train on your mom and dad has got to be really emotional. That's got to be some PTSD's nuts.
I don't know.
For that kid.
Don's going to run out of kids eventually. You know, Ivanka's already out of the picture. Don Jr. basically is like, he somehow is hanging around. You know, Eric's going to get a shot. And, you know, if Trump does end up sticking around, you know, Barron's going to get his shot too. So, you know, they'll all get an opportunity to just completely disappoint their father in every single way possible.
Well, Don Sr.'s familiar with that feeling.
Well, right. How do you think he does it so well?
Imagine your dad giving you like $400 million and the first thing you do is buy a pageant for little girls. Not creepy at all. That's some Jesus Bald Eagle stuff.
Well, this is why it truly is. If a Republican ever accuses you or a Democrat of something, it's like, oh, so we need to check your hard drive because you have definitely like a thousand, and like, and that's just, again, I can't see how it clicks. Like, yeah, the dude who was like bragging about walking through the dressing room of teenage girls, that's not the pedophile. No, it's Hillary Clinton drinking children's blood in a pizzeria basement. That's where the pedophiles are. Like, it just,
dude.
A secret basement.
You're gonna love my new
secret basement, Jordan.
Secret basement, because it's slab on grade.
They say there isn't. They say there's no basement. Right. It's a secret basement.
I talk about Pizzagate and Adrenochrome in my new comedy special, which drops in a couple of days.
All right.
You're gonna love it. It's so dumb. But I just put out a video that was like, you really think the guy that elevated Matt Gaetz, a dude who, like, you know, statutorily raped teenage girls before and after doing drugs with them, helped the Tate brothers, like human trafficking,
human thumbs, yeah,
rapists, child molesters, RFK, who cheated on his wife with 37 women and tried to sexually assault his kid's babysitter, Pete Hegseth, who's a rapist who paid 50 grand NDA to his rape victim. You think the same guy that like elevated all those people kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for banging underage girls? Cool, bud.
He also hung out with Diddy.
Never met her. There's
You're
definitely
not gullible at all.
Never met him. Definitely doesn't have a photo with him next to them at all. Like that never happened. Never been to the island. Nah.
And they're like, what about Bill Clinton? I'm like, oh, you mean the guy that was president when I was in the third grade? Oh, I didn't know. I don't love him either, but I didn't know this conversation. I was kind of talking about present moment stuff.
Right.
Yeah, you always gotta love that their whataboutism goes back 3 fucking decades. Like,
oh yeah. What about Woodrow Wilson, you son of a bitch? What?
I also love, and you've got to enjoy this with being from the South and trolling fucking Southerners, being a Yankee, a Yankee, and being in the South, and I just trolled Southerners fucking constantly when I was down there. But the denying the party switch while simultaneously being mad about like shit that if the parties never switched they'd be in favor of, like, oh yeah, you know, Democrats were the pro-slavery people who started the KKK, and we're like, cool, we're gonna take down the statues of all those racist Democrats. Like, you're taking away my goddamn heritage.
Exactly. You leave my participation trophy alone.
Like, yeah, but the party switch never happened. No, they're still the Klan. I'm like, okay, then you go and tell one of those people holding a Nazi flag or in a white hood at a fucking Trump rally that they're a Democrat. See how that...
Yeah, but hey, I think you're supposed to be at the Kamala Harris rally. It's the one that's completely sold out. You accidentally came to the one that has 3,000 people. But I assure y'all won.
No, the cognitive dissonance on that one just always floors me.
It's gonna be one of the most researched and talked about parts of world history. I mean, this moment in time in American history will be as big as World War II, even if there's not a
Yeah.
massive armed conflict, because it's so mind blowing that so many people fell for it. It will blow people's minds for the
Yeah,
rest of human existence,
I
for sure.
absolutely agree. I
There's
hate that
never
this
been
is the
anything
part of
like it.
history that I get to be written into, like in the history books. Like, yeah, this is
Totally.
this chapter's the one that I was in, where we had people who are calling a geriatric old man daddy that they've never met before,
Yeah.
and not, well, it's probably kind of a sexual way, but not supposed to be a sexual way, and that's who they elected to run our country when Idiocracy became a documentary.
And he can't stop talking about Arnold Palmer's dick size.
Oh my god, that was he just goes. He is definitely the gayest straight man that has ever been
Yeah.
like in politics. Like, it just, I've never I've been with men, and I still don't think about it that way. I don't.
I gotta go.
I don't think of like, oh, that one guy in the locker room, like, God, he really had it, like, and then talk about it constantly and like in public,
Well, he's like, these Asian immigrants are coming over. They have enormous calf muscles, really nice legs. I don't know if you've seen their legs. I'm hard right now thinking about Arnold Palmer's dick and these Asians' calf muscles.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna have to take my little tiny wee wee and fuck myself in the neck pussy here in just a minute.
I am thoroughly convinced that there is no such thing as a straight Republican. Like,
I think that's a pretty safe assessment.
I used to think it was weird that there was gay Republicans, but now I'm just starting to think that those are just the ones who aren't hiding it anymore. Like, the rest of them, there cannot be a straight Republican. Like, you cannot be that worried about what's in other people's pants all the time and be straight. Like, you just can't. It's not possible.
And they're shutting down the Grinder app at the RNC, and I mean, there's rumors of Mike Johnson likes to get pegged. I mean, it's always something.
You have a whole bit about Mike Johnson being gay, don't you?
Oh, the Long Road, my comedy special that came out this past October, the callback throughout the entire thing is that Mike Johnson is gay. And not just that he's gay, but that he's a closeted gay man who's taking rights away from people who are brave enough to be themselves. But it's just the premise is like, if you're that homophobic, it's because you're gay. Like, there's nothing gayer than persecuting gay people. Like nothing tells me.
Yeah.
I mean, that is more gay than banging another dude in front of me. Like, trying to take rights away from gay people who have the courage to be themselves is, I mean, the most surefire way to let me know you're definitely
it's always on their mind for a reason.
Totally.
Like, you don't talk about that.
I have a little act out. In the Southern accent where I'm like, I just can't stop thinking about what gay people are doing behind closed doors. It's like, well, that means you're gay.
It's like the Ron White bit about how everybody's a little bit gay. Like, I can prove it. Well, you're watching porn. Yeah, you like porn? Yeah, I love porn. It's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, do you like to watch a girl getting railed by a little tiny dick? And he's like, no, I want to see some big, hard throbbing. I did not know that about myself.
Yeah. I had a comedian friend that I started out with. He had a joke that was like, you don't want to nut until the dude nuts in the video. I was like, it's pretty gay.
Can't say.
It's like, I'm waiting on my friend.
No man left behind.
Yeah. I'm not trying to jump the gun here.
No, I don't know. And the fact that Lindsey Graham exists, like, that man would have been so much happier being a drag queen.
Ladybug.
Like, if we would have just given him the chance, like, if he could have just been loved to the point where he felt comfortable putting on a dress in public, the world would be a better place.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And I think they call him Ladybug Graham. Is like his he travels, like he is known to like go to gay bars and stuff, and the gay
Yeah,
community
because of
calls
all
him
the
Ladybug.
moles on his asshole, apparently.
Yeah, it's a not so secret. Are you
Yeah,
being
that's why he's
serious?
called
Moles on his
so
ass
so
is
so
where
the story
Ladybug came
goes
from?
that he hired a male hooker.
Oh my god,
The
that's
story goes he hired a male
hilarious.
hooker, and the male hooker is like, and he's spread out there on all fours, just ready to get things done to him, get serviced, and the male hooker is like, you mind if I like wipe you down, clean you up a little bit before we get started? Which would just if I was in that situation ever, just be like, you know what? No, actually, I think I'm gonna go. This was a mistake. But he's like, oh yeah, absolutely, because apparently he does this a lot, and he wipes it off, and it doesn't come off, and he's like, oh, those are moles. I'm so sorry. And he's like, oh yeah, they're just my little ladybugs.
Oh my gosh. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought those were
Yeah.
little droplets of shit all over you. It turns out. And so now he has to play, is it a hole or is it a mole? I just thought Lindsay and Lady was. I had no idea the story. Oh my god!
Yeah,
so that's going in the
absolutely.
next
I can't
comedy
believe you
special.
didn't know that. That is, it is
So
incredibly
gross.
gross. And yeah,
I can't believe I didn't know that either.
And here's the thing: it's true because nobody would be able to make that shit up. Like nobody's gonna come here and just that's the story that they're fabricating. Like that story can only be true. There's no way that comes into existence anywhere else.
I don't know why, but I just assumed. And you know what they say when you assume, you make an ass mole out of you and me.
That's true. That is what they say.
Yeah. All right. So we've been doing this for an hour here. I got a few more questions on topic because this is too much fun and you can't put us together because apparently we're gonna get way off topic. But I'm
just checking.
So you've been doing this a while. You've been on the road. And have you seen? Do you feel like you've been making any progress with like you've been leading a lot of activism? You've been leading a lot of protests. Raising a lot of money. Do you feel like have you seen tangible progress? Do you feel like you're moving the needle, or do you just feel frustrated? Because I know like a lot of times, especially on the left, it feels like we can't get out of our own way. We're too busy, purity testing ourselves and breaking our own movements apart to make any traction to go forward. And I know that going to our permanent protests and shit like that in my very safe blue state, it is a good feeling. Like you feel good when you go there and you feel camaraderie and you feel like, hey, at least I'm doing something. But I imagine it's different when you're, in maybe less welcoming places. And I don't know if you're feeling better or worse about that. Just what's been your experience with all that?
So I've definitely seen momentum build. So the first 50-51 protest I was at was Raleigh, North Carolina on, I think it was like February the 7th. I can't remember, but it was the first one. And I would say there were like maybe 2,000 people there, which I was pretty excited about. The last one I went to in Raleigh, I believe, was May 1st. And there were, I don't know, 10,000, like huge, like I don't even know. I could be wrong. It might have been 20,000. I mean, just a massive. I just put a video up of it the other day, where I made this video talking about here's this image of a few dozen rednecks piling out of a U-Haul truck and they're matching like white trash howdy doody costumes, their faces covered. Here's a video of the last protest I went to. Here's the one from Tampa where there was 4,000 people. Here's the one from Raleigh where there's I don't even thousands and thousands of people. Here's our veterans protest where we had 4,000 veterans. I mean, maybe not every single person, but most of the people there were veterans. How many U-Haul trucks would we have to rent? You know what I mean? And so like that's the thing that I know that I'm not totally answering the question, but I would like people to hear this. He doesn't have the support you think he has. And the reason you think he has it is because he's really fucking good at lying. And you see the flags and the trucks and the stickers and the hats. What I'm telling you is the only people possibly willing to fight for him are the ones with the stickers and the hats. and I bet you half of them aren't willing to fight. His support is actually a lot smaller than even liberals think it is. When he had his 100-day rally in Michigan, there were 1,000 people on the inside and 3,000 people on the outside protesting him. He moved his inauguration indoors because people weren't coming, and he knew it was going to look small. They could tell by the number of the hotel occupancy. It was like 30% lower than his last inauguration.
Yeah,
The ratings were 30%
I did my part on
lower
that.
than
I
his
got us
last
4 tickets. I
inauguration.
got Taylor tickets to the inauguration and his wife. I got me and my wife tickets to the inauguration. And then, of course, I was definitely totally going to go, had plane tickets booked and everything, was absolutely going to be there. That's what I did. I forgot to book my hotel. That's why they moved it indoors. I was going to sleep in my car. I just figured I wouldn't be able to get a hotel.
Dude. No, you told me to book it, and then I forgot. And so that's why we didn't go.
Oh, no, I got you your ticket.
He
I
moved it
even
because it
had
was going to be cold.
They
you got me the
mailed me
ticket.
the packet.
But you said my job was to book the hotel.
Right, yeah.
That was the deal.
That was the problem.
I failed.
Yeah.
I failed.
But yeah, I mean, I'm long-winded, but I'll make this answer short. I do see momentum. I see these protests getting bigger. I see more things happening. At any given moment around the country, there is a meaningful protest happening. He has lost something like 94% of his court cases since taking office. There has to be some enforcement of those decisions, of course, but his polls are tanking. The general vibe towards him internationally is worse than it's ever been. So I do feel like we are making progress in the sense that his grip is shakier and shakier every day. And, again, I think our job is to really deliver the optics to the powers that be to say, hey, the American people do not support this guy. The numbers are the protests are huge and the approval ratings are low, and it's time to work towards finding whatever scenario gets him and them not just removed but
I think
prosecuted.
too. I wanna build a little bit more on the he doesn't have the support you think he does. Point you made, and that's the they're not a huge group of people, but they're a very loud group of people, which makes it seem like there's more of them, obviously. And we tend to be part of the reason that they've gotten away with this so long is because people on the left tend not to be as loud. Like, we're not going to rock the boat as much. We're not going to. And so they kind of created the self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, we're the the silent majority because they never shut the fuck up. So that's the only thing they hear is themselves. So they figure that everybody's like that, and they truly believe that because they don't get out of these bubbles. And now you're seeing that start to break because, again, we're getting louder, and I think that that's important that these protests are going on. Is they're seeing like, oh no, there's actually all of these people that hate all of us, and this isn't as cool as we thought it was. And that's really what it comes down to. Is most of these people aren't ride or die for Trump. They're ride or die for being part of a group because they're fucking losers, right? I mean, these people they're fucking losers. And so this was the easiest thing that they could ever do. Is like, all I got to do is buy a hat and just say I love Trump, and now I'm part of a group, and people think I'm cool, and I get included and get to participate in something, and not be a fucking loser hanging out in my mom's basement, and that's really what it comes down to. Is they just thought they were finally part of a cool group, and us making them feel shame for that is going to make them abandon that. And when it comes down to it, they're not gonna go out into the streets and choose violence for this because they don't want to be ostracized, and most of them are losers. They're losers, and that's why they're a part of this. And losers do lone wolf shit, but they don't organize and do group fighting for a cause.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these protests like April 5th, I think the number was around 5 million nationwide. And there were literally, as far as I know, there were 0 organized counter protests. We saw the one morbidly obese guy in Indiana get out of his car with an AR-15 and after somebody headbutted him in the nose. Yeah, he was twerking his front butt on the sidewalk. And I've had a couple incels try to get in my face one at a time. And I mean, you saw the one where I was on top of the car with the megaphone and the guy's yelling at me from across the street, and I said, "Don't you have a Russian dick to be sucking, sir?" Um, that one went kind of viral, but it's that. It's like that's the extent of it. And it's not because they have a ton of self-restraint and they're being really clever and strategic. It's not that. If they hate us that much and there's that many of them, where are they? They're not there because they don't exist. They're fair weather fans. Some of these people voted for him because I just vote R. I just vote R because my Paul told me to when I was 8, and I've never gone against it. But they don't actually care. They don't actually follow it. Some people, he's losing some support. Some of the support was never real. It's people pretending to love him because my cousin loves him, and I want to impress my cousin. But the people that are ride or die for him are the January 6 people. That's why he wants them all out of jail, because he knows that can be his little redneck army. And it's the squatted truck with the Trump flag, and there's just not as many of them as they pretend there are, and we need to stop believing them. Like, I mean, when he had this rally in New Jersey, I don't remember exactly where it was, but they told people there was 100,000 people there. Well, then it came out that the space only holds 30,000, and it wasn't anywhere near full. And then the town came out and said, well, we meant that there might have been 100,000 in the whole town that day, and some of them were there, and it's just like, and let me say this, that model, tell the lie really loudly, and then days later whisper the truth. That's the Fox News model. So he has taken, this is all connected. It's Fox and it's Heritage and it's Trump, and it's all connected and it's all same team. And that's what they do. That lie. And if anybody does mention that it's a lie, it's on the back page of the Thursday issue, and nobody hears about the lie because they're too busy. Nobody hears about the truth. They're too busy repeating the lie. And so my humble opinion, and who knows if I'm right or not, is that Russia said, well, we really want to sort of topple U.S. democracy. And they realized this misinformation and disinformation is really doing our job for us. And you can argue that they'd already infiltrated Fox because Rupert Murdoch has tons of ties to Russia, including his wife being her ex-husband, a Russian oligarch, her son-in-law's a Russian oligarch. But even if Rupert Murdoch didn't have ties to Russia, I think Russia saw this disinformation, misinformation campaign mechanism formula and said, oh man, we don't even have to do anything extra. We just got to mimic this disinformation because the people are dumb enough, as long as you beat it through their head over and over. And that's when they started paying Tim Pool $100,000 an episode to make his dumb podcast and his dumb beanie. I want to fight him and the guy with the bad bottom teeth at the same time. But, so anyway, I sort of got off track, but you get the idea. It's the power of that disinformation. And, in that sense, it's clever of Trump to do it. It's unethical and immoral.
That's definitely something
and
Trump's
should be
always
illegal,
struggled with. Is, his moral conscience really gets the better of him.
I know. I bet he has trouble sleeping tonight in his diaper.
No, I think you're right. I do think that that's where this biggest impact is coming, is showing where the voice of the people actually are, and not letting these idiots believe their own lies, that they are the silent majority, and this was the mandate. And it's like, no, the only mandate you guys ever got was on Grindr at the RNC. There's no mandate here. And this is going to take that idea away from them, and we're already seeing more and more of them just kind of sulk into the shadows. Like, my Facebook feed has gone from a bunch of people posting their Trump shit every day and trolling everything anti-Trump I post to no end, to just fucking crickets, and the flags are fewer and further between. And I saw somebody with painter's tape covering up the bumper sticker the other day. So like, it's the foundation is cracking for him. Unfortunately, the power structure is in place, and now we're in kind of a race against time. And we're still sitting on a powder keg, and it's not going to be a powder keg because of his base. I'm the last people I'm scared of is fucking MAGA. Like, they're a bunch of cowards. But it's I am scared of of the feds and the military structure he is putting in place, because he's firing anybody who takes their oath of office seriously and hiring loyalists in all federal law enforcement and in the military. And that's setting up for, basically a military coup to overthrow democracy. And that's where it's like, okay, there it gets scary, because I'd happily, if MAGA wants to start a civil war, like let him. Minnesota has some super traitor eraser credentials, and we're happy to go, around to that. But with the federal government being run,
it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me like all that much that like ICE and Homeland Security were like so like ready to go. Just like tell me where and when. Like, am I going to go be the Gestapo of the United States? But like it still is a little surprising that like it is happening, and like their family members aren't like kicking them out of their families, or like just it is just a little surprising to me that it is actually occurring, and that these people are like ready to go whenever to go break the constitutional Bill of Rights and stuff like that.
The saying goes,
they're just good.
Those who work forces. I mean, these aren't people who are new to the alt-right racism, fascism. We want Hitler #2, the sequel, to come on. I mean, these people probably have Mein Kampf, in a Bible jacket on their nightstand. Not that they read it, because they can't read, but it's there for moral support.
Read, dude.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they can't read. They have the video bookmarked.
Books on tape in their squad car as they drive around. But these are law enforcement was developed to be slave catchers. That was their initial purpose, and in reality, that's literally what they still do. Right? That is what they exist to do, is catch slaves. It's just in a slightly different structured system, but they catch people, predominantly black people, and put them into a system that then exploits their labor for little or no money against their consent. So cops are and always have been slave catchers and institutionally racist, and have always had this superiority complex, and they've always felt that, when this happens, what's happening now, we get to be, because these are the high school bullies that peaked, in ninth grade, and these are the people who, like, totally. Now's our time. Now we get to be the big tough guys, and everybody who ever hurt our feelings, we get to take it out on them. And all the people that I think are bad people and I don't like, all the brown people and the gay people and the people who didn't respect my authority, I get to put my boot on their neck now. And of course they're going to go along with that, and of course their families aren't kicking them out, because if their families are going to kick them out, they would have done this long, long ago, because this is nothing new. Like, these people have surrounded themselves with this type of people and people of these mindsets, and that is what's scary. Is these are you didn't see any cops at January 6th, because they were all doing January 6th. Like, that's
yeah.
So I guess we kind of beat that to death. I think what you're doing is really good work, and I want to know what's next. Obviously, you've got the thing on June 6th, which is going to come out after this airs. But what's your few week plan, your few month plan? What do you want people to know about? I want you to, your shameless plugs here. You can plug your comedy and all that stuff too, but just get it all out there. What are you doing?
Yeah. So, the 4-part plan that I mentioned earlier: amplifying veterans' voices, Fox News pressure, media pressure, Heritage Foundation pressure, and in-person congressional visits. So, like, going to D.C. and going to these people's offices, but when they're in recess, go to their local and state offices in big numbers. And I would really like people around the country hold veterans town halls. You don't need me to do it. You don't even really need any other group to do it. You find a venue with chairs and a sound system. You get them to donate it. You let all the progressive veterans in the area. You let Indivisible know. Let your 5051 people know. Let your local Democratic Party know, and say, hey, I'm doing this on August the 1st, and here's the address, and here's the time, and here's the Canva poster, and you just do it. And then you record the veterans speaking, and you get that online and try to amplify that and ask other people to as well. All these things are very doable, and these foxtakedown.com is the website we started. You can go on and you can see a list of every Fox affiliate. There's around 40 of them in different markets. If one of those is in or near your city, start a Fox Takedown. We'll help you do it. We have the signs. Everything is on the website. You can literally download signs and have them printed. We'll walk you through it if you need it, but it's all there. The formula is there. And the media pressure, the Heritage Foundation protests, you really got to go to DC to protest them. But you can call them every day and just fuck with them. You can email them every day and fuck with them. You can send them mail, and I think you should mail them things that nobody wants to receive in the mail, legally, of course. But my website's foxtakedown.com. I'm involved in donaldlovesvladimir.com. That's where all the information about his ties to Russia, and it also lists everything I'm doing. So it'll link to Fox Takedown. It'll have information about all the protests. There's an email you can sign up to get. We only send you like when there's something new that we want you to know about. We don't just blast you all every day. We don't ask for money. When I do want money, I post it on my social medias, and I've been using that money to hire digital billboard trucks. So these trucks are the size of a U-Haul moving truck, and they have a digital screen, like a giant screen.
They're just not filled with Nazis,
on all three sides. And I've been putting Donald.
They're not filled with Nazis, though, are they?
Do what?
Okay, that's good.
No, they're full of some kind of camera equipment type stuff. But the size, I've been putting on these digital billboards, donaldlovesvladimir.com, with like pictures of them kissing, like AI pictures of them kissing. And one day, for example, I had 4 of those for 12 hours circling DC, basically driving circles around the White House for 12 hours. And I told the owner of the company, I don't want them split up around DC. I want them to drive in a line together, one behind the other. And so it's just Donald Loves Vladimir doing laps around DC. I've also sent them to Mar-a-Lago. I've been leading protests against main media headquarters, where I think is the most important in multiple cities. But anyway, those 2 websites, foxtakedown.com, donaldlovesvladimir.com. I'm at CliffCashComedy on all social media, primarily Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I do Blue Sky, I do Substack. And I have a new special. My old special is called The Long Road. It's on YouTube now. It's got, I don't know, millions of views across clips. But the new special is called Thoughts and Prayers, and it's going to drop in the next few days. I just put up the first teaser clip of that last night, so you can see that now. It's black and white. It's totally different. It's all new material. So yeah, just keep in touch with me, and I'll
it's been great.
On.
And speaking of trucks in DC, did you see? I think it was Democratic Party or somebody apparently got taco trucks and parked them out in front of the White House and started handing out free chicken tacos.
Awesome.
Yeah. And
that's awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, trolling him
he
is
has
about
little
as effective as anything
meltdowns.
you can do.
Then somebody skywrote taco above Mar-a-Lago.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm planning on sending some Donald Loves Vladimir trucks out during his parade. And I'll probably have, Draft Dodger, Agent Krasnov, Captain Bone Spurs.
Are you going to be there in DC for his parade?
Because the irony of it, I'm not going to be there for it. No, I originally wanted to organize a bunch of tough people to line the parade route with upside down American flags, but I
can't imagine.
I'm exhausted, man. I've been really burning the candle at both ends, and I got a piece of land in Mexico that is probably my escape plan, but I have to pay the taxes in person, so I'm going to go down there that week and pay the taxes and do some paperwork, and I'm going to take my lady down there and
you've
try
earned
and
it for
disconnect
sure.
for a few days.
You've been fighting the good fight for a long time, and we definitely appreciate the work you're doing. So.
Same, dude.
Well, we
same.
really appreciate you coming down and hanging out with us today. It's been good to actually finally talk with you in person. It was everything I thought it would be, hanging out with you here. So hopefully we can do this again soon, especially when you got more stuff coming up that we can help plug and promote the platform here. We wanna make sure that your work's getting out there, because I'll tell you what, I've got a ton of respect for anybody who can organize, because I can talk shit all day long, but organizing is a whole different skill set that I'm far too ADHD for. So it's a lot of work. And I'm amazed you've been doing it so consistently for so long and so well. And we're here to help that whenever we can. So. Well, follow
thanks, brother. I appreciate you very much.
CliffCashComedy on all the socials except TikTok at the moment, right? Till you get that relaunched again. Yeah, thanks for coming down. If you want to support us, obviously we just appreciate you guys watching and listening. Venmo, there's subscriptions on YouTube. I think on Patreon still. We've got the Venmo and all the crap in the bio. And we've got merch at offjoewagon.com, both Let Them Eat Toast merch and my regular merch, which we need to update again. It's been a long time. Our merch is super out of date. But we appreciate all of you guys hanging out and listening to us every week, and we will see you guys next week.
That's right. Thanks for joining us, Cliff, and thanks for everybody for tuning in.
Thank you.